Before we begin, please like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any stories. Enjoy listening. I've been a wandering ghost for only a few months, yet I've already witnessed the grand wedding at the Marquis' estate. At the street corner, an old servant and a young maid around 17 kneel silently at the crossroads, wiping tears while burning paper money. The wind carries the ashes in all directions. The little maid thinks I've received the money and cries even harder, kowtowing while reminding me, "Miss, please don't give all your money to others down there anymore. It's laughable. In my previous life, I lived weakly my whole life, eventually being buried in a mass grave with no path to the underworld. Now I'm just a wronged soul wandering the mortal realm. Where would I have a place to spend money or give it to anyone?" Dark clouds cover most of the moonlight. Only the wedding lights from the Whitmore house in the distance shine bright as day, with loud laughter and bustling shadows. The old, peeling sign of the Whitmore house has been replaced with a large gold-trimmed sign, gleaming with wealth that makes passersby look back in admiration. The Whitmore family is celebrating. The gate gods keep me out. I rush in several times but get bounced back. My small soul aches and can't advance further. What a pity. The Whitmore family uses my dowry to feast for 3 days straight. Even the yellow dog on the next street gets fed fat, yet I don't get to taste even a drop of wedding wine. Tired of crying and fearing other evil spirits, I drift into the princess's mansion. On the bed lies a man tortured until he's neither human nor ghost, his body thin as dried wood. I take pity and plan to set fire to help him find release, but the flames lick at me. I can't dodge in time, and my small soul instantly turns to smoke and dust. Opening my eyes again, I discover I've been reborn. Tonight is the night before Adrian harms me. I struggle to open my eyes. Before me is a room packed with people, still this small abandoned courtyard. The west window is slightly open. I've just recovered from illness and can't bear the night's cold. Even my fingertips are numb. The Marquis's wife, Lady Victoria Whitmore, is crying with red eyes, hair disheveled, pleading, "My dear daughter, mother begs you, please agree to give the elixir to save your life and save your sister Sophia's life. It will also save dozens of mouths in this Marquis estate." When this vicious woman's words ring out, memories of my past life flood back like a rising tide. Sophia Whitmore, the eldest daughter of the Whitmore family, though her palace status isn't high, she's caused no small amount of trouble. She offended the noble consort, endangering her life. In my past life I gave my own life to save her from disaster. But in this life, she must repay me with her life. As this bold thought takes root, Lady Victoria sees I haven't responded and calls loudly, "Elena." She calls out tearfully for her son. Adrian Whitmore's shadow outside immediately enters. In my past life, I once loved that pale face deeply, but after becoming a spirit, just seeing it makes me want to vomit. Before I can refuse, I quickly agree to Lady Victoria. "Fine. Lady Whitmore, I agree. Time is urgent now, I have no other choice. In this Marquis estate, even if I refuse, they have ways to take the elixir. With no retreat, I can only take initiative, absolutely not letting myself fall into desperation again." Lady Victoria is stunned hearing this, then overjoyed, gripping my hand and praising continuously. Good child. You're such a good girl. Our Marquis' estate won't forget this great kindness." The elixir hasn't even reached her hands yet, she's already saying, "Or Marquis' estate." I don't want to argue with her empty words, just seriously say, "Lady Whitmore, this purple renewal pill won't work if used alone. It needs to be combined with my family's hereditary acupuncture method to save a life." This. Lady Victoria hesitates. "Can we perhaps teach this method to the imperial physician?" She doesn't want me involved, fearing that since I'm a Sterling, not a Whitmore, the life-saving credit won't belong to the Marquis' estate. I naturally won't let the Marquis' estate gain any more advantage. In my past life, I failed to save anyone. Died instead, and the Whitmore family never mentioned any promises, dumping all blame on me, an orphan girl. I pretend difficulty with this method. The acupuncture technique is complex, can't be learned in a day. I fear the noble in the palace can't wait. As my words end, the whole room falls silent. The Marquis, who had been silent, suddenly slams the table. "Prepare immediately. I'll personally escort Miss Sterling into the palace." Hearing this, I tremble, fingertips slightly shaking. In my past life I never set foot in the imperial palace. But if tomorrow I can smoothly enter the palace and save that noble, I'll find a thread of hope for survival. Blood debts can be slowly calculated. I suppress my unease, comforting myself. When everyone leaves, Maid Lily rushes in with red eyes, immediately closing the window. Last time I saw her, she was kneeling at the crossroads burning paper money for me, telling me not to spend money carelessly. Now meeting again, warmth suddenly rises in my heart, sour yet with a bright clarity and unprecedented determination. The next day before dawn, the old Marquis rides his horse while Lady Whitmore and I each take a carriage entering the palace. "Miss, we've arrived." The driver old Peter calls from outside the curtain. Maid Lily quickly helps me down. Palace rules are strict. We alight not far from the palace gate, then walk to the gate and switch to ceremonial palanquins. The hasty palace entry left no time for detailed instruction. Just alighting from the palanquin, Lady Whitmore only reminds me to keep my head down, follow closely behind, and stay silent. Following the deep palace walls, I silently follow behind Lady Whitmore for a long distance, finally stopping at a small courtyard. 3 years ago, Sophia entered the palace and was made a cultivated consort, but due to her declining maternal family and lack of offspring she wasn't favored. Still, that didn't prevent her from causing great disaster. Yesterday she offended consort Catherine, who's infinitely favored, causing her distress and difficulty in childbirth. The entire Whitmore clan fell into danger. Late at night they hurriedly brought a palm-length white jade guanyin statue, and a box of South Sea pearls from my family kept at the Moore estate to gift Princess Anne. Thus through her trusted nanny's report we could enter the palace. Princess Anne's nanny enters the courtyard alone, while others wait silently outside. In my past life I was completely ignorant of palace affairs. Only when framed and imprisoned before death did I somewhat understand. Half a year ago, this powerless cultivated consort suddenly seemed to strike gold, treasures and silver flowing like water, thus flattering her way to consort Catherine's Peach Blossom Palace. Sophia originally planned to profit while consort Catherine was pregnant and physically inconvenient. But the consort was about to give birth and she couldn't gain any benefits. Anxious, she argued loudly with palace maids, even fighting before consort Catherine. The consort was startled, her belly suddenly aching violently, showing signs of difficult birth. The Peach Blossom Palace fell into chaos. No one had time for Sophia. This time Sophia rarely used her brain. Facing danger, she used all her silver to buy connections and send news to the Marquis' estate. Thus from top to bottom, the Whitmore family used every threat and enticement to force me to surrender the hereditary elixir to save the consort, also saving Sophia and the entire Whitmore estate. Princess Anne's nanny takes only the time for a cup of tea before a palace maid in light blue emerges, approaching Lady Whitmore's palanquin to speak briefly. Lady Whitmore alights and we follow the palace maid to another courtyard. Only now do I learn Sophia is imprisoned here. When we enter she's frantically pacing. "Mother." Seeing us, she screams and throws herself into Lady Victoria's arms, her pearl hairpin not yet removed, clinking as it shakes. Unexpectedly Princess Anne can manipulate even heaven. Sophia caused consort Catherine's premature birth, yet can still clear the path for Lady Victoria to visit her daughter. No wonder in my past life only I had to accept death while Sophia and the entire Whitmore family escaped safely under Prince Anne's protection. Lady Victoria embraces Sophia, scolding yet pitying. True mother-daughter affection, nothing like the, "my dear," or "mother begs you" she used to deceive me. Hearing Lady Victoria speak briefly, Sophia jumps up from her embrace, pointing at me. "Elena Sterling, can you really save consort Catherine?" Before I can answer, she shouts, "Today you must ensure consort Catherine and child are safe. Otherwise our Whitmore family won't spare you, and neither will His Majesty. Your family met disaster, our Marquis' estate took you in, fed and clothed you. If you dare not give your all, you're an ungrateful wretch worse than animals." Lady Victoria's expression flickers hearing this. Palace has eyes and ears everywhere. Since entering, I've noticed the blue-clad palace maid standing silently in the room. I don't know her exact identity, but instinct tells me I must seize this chance to declare my position. Completely cutting ties with the Whitmore family, I coldly respond to Sophia, "Whoever owes repays. Consort Catherine's difficult birth isn't my fault. Why should His Majesty blame me? And what grounds does your Marquis' estate have to not spare me?" Sophia rushes forward pointing at my face. You dare speak to me like this?" I push her hand away, yanking off the gold necklace inlaid with jade and pearls from her neck. "The Marquis' estate feeds and clothes me." I laugh coldly. This necklace alone could feed your entire Marquis estate for half a year. I break off a corner of the gold leaf, revealing my late mother's name engraved underneath. My mother's name is carved here. Tell me, if the palace nobles knew about this, would they find you beautiful or disgusting? Sophia clutches her neck, crying in pain. Lady Victoria immediately recognizes something's wrong, standing up and shouting, "Miss Sterling, what's wrong with you? What nonsense are you spouting?" I ignore her, turning to the palace maid. "Sister, I am Alina Sterling with hereditary purple renewal pills that can save pregnant women in danger, protecting mother and child. I've entered the palace to save the consort. You cannot go." Lady Victoria immediately changes her mind, loudly blocking me. "Mother." Sophia looks at her with tears. I just smile faintly, looking straight at her. I answer decisively. "Who decides whether I help now depends on me." The palace bows to Lady Victoria, then turns to me. "Miss Sterling, please follow me." "Thank you for leading the way, sister." With that, I follow her out without looking back. At that moment, I'm no longer the Alina Sterling of before, silently enduring injustice in the deep courtyard, dreaming of marrying into the Marquis estate. Day has brightened. The palace maid leads me to change into light blue palace attire, placing me among similarly dressed palace maids as we proceed deeper into the palace. The blue stone path is hard, clean and shining, wide and long. Though many feet tread upon it, absolutely no one dares make a sound. General Marcus. A squad of imperial guards approaches from ahead. The blue-clad palace maid bows to the armored general embroidered with gold thread at the lead. Hearing this, my heart stirs. I can't help looking up at this General Marcus. Indeed, it's someone I recognize. Only back then I was a soul. He couldn't see me. But I saw him tortured to skin and bones, completely different from his current majestic appearance, in bright armor like the morning sun. So he once had such heroic bearing. Behind someone gently tugs my sleeve. Only then do I realize I'm standing straight among the crowd while the palace maids ahead are a head shorter. I quickly bow my head following everyone else, not daring to reveal any slip. Meeting an old acquaintance is a good omen. Though he doesn't recognize me, it still eases my worry, as if I have support. The Sterling family now has only me left. Though the road ahead is perilous, nothing can shake my firm resolve. The blue-clad palace maid finally leads me to the Peach Blossom Palace where Consort Catherine resides. The palace is full of imperial physicians, eunuchs, and nannies. Her Majesty the Empress isn't present but has sent many to stand vigil. Soon I'm brought before an elderly imperial physician. "What is this purple renewal pill you speak of, sir?" I bow and answer. "This elixir is my family's secret hereditary medicine. The main ingredient is purple river chariot plus astragalus chuangxing safflower, and prepared Rehmannia. I deliberately don't mention the amounts and preparation methods." The old physician understands professional courtesy, slowly nodding, then asks, "May I examine the medicine?" I take out an elixir from my brocade pouch. The physician receives it, sniffs under his nose, then carefully cuts it to examine inside. "It needs acupuncture coordination." "Yes," I respectfully answer, listing the acupoints and sequence needed. The physician closes his eyes thinking briefly, then tells the nearby nanny, "May try." That nanny is sweating profusely. Hearing the physician, she quickly pulls me into the inner chamber. Stepping inside, the noisy outside world seems blocked. The room is deathly quiet like a still lake. Consort Catherine lies on the bed, face pale. Those beside her hold their breath, no one daring to make a sound. I'm not afraid because I know the real reason for the consort's difficult birth. I softly ask the nearest palace maid for warm water to wash my hands, then take out my needle pouch from my sleeve, spreading it on the bedside table to select appropriate silver needles. I insert needles into Consort Catherine's Zongwan, Pishu Shenshu, Niguan, and Quichi points. Not to boast, but in my past life Consort Catherine died in childbirth along with her child. The two imperial physicians outside were also thrown in death row with me. I heard them cry their innocence. Consort Catherine's difficult birth wasn't due to poor medical skills, but because she ordered the midwife to delay, not allowing birth. In the palace, childbirth isn't just producing a child but birthing imperial bloodline. That child could ascend to power in one step or fall to misery, completely unlike common folk. Since becoming pregnant, Consort Catherine had fortune tellers divine that each moment of birth would bring completely different fates. She had prepared birth-inducing medicine, waiting only for the auspicious hour to drink and deliver. But unexpectedly Sophia startled her into early labor. This matter relates to her status and glory and that of her entire clan. How could she easily let it go? My acupuncture coordinates with the purple renewal pill to protect mother and child, extending delivery time. I just need to wait for the pill to take effect in the consort's body, then help her deliver smoothly. I'm 90% confident. Indeed, after the acupuncture, consort Catherine slowly opens her eyes. I gently reassure her the baby is safe. After taking the medicine she'll have strength. We expect smooth delivery at the hour of the rat. Hearing she'll deliver at the rat hour, the consort's tired eyes suddenly brighten. With her cooperation and the midwife's help, at the rat hour she delivers a prince, mother and child safe. When the baby's cry sounds, a young eunuch outside loudly announces, His Majesty arrives. The nanny quickly bathes the little prince, wrapping him in yellow silk to carry outside. Your Majesty. We all in the room kneel to welcome the imperial presence. Everything settled, His Majesty summons me. First he gently praises a few words, then asks, We hear you live alone at the Whitmore Marquis estate. Do you wish us to arrange your marriage to the Whitmore heir? I kneel at the Emperor's feet, the bright yellow robe swaying before my eyes. The immense authority makes me not dare breathe hard, but my blood feud with the Marquis' estate gives me courage to refuse. Your Majesty. I hear my voice trembling like falling leaves. This commoner is the only descendant of the Sterling family. I only wish to preserve and inherit my family traditions, not wanting to shame my ancestors. Oh, His Majesty indifferently responds. You mean you want to take a husband into your family? The Whitmore family, though not very talented, is still a proper heir and cannot marry into your family. I bow my head, kowtowing once. Your Majesty misunderstands. This commoner doesn't wish to tarnish the heir's reputation with my orphan status. Hearing this, His Majesty doesn't mention arranging marriage with Adrian again, instead asking, You saved our consort and imperial son, have no parents or relatives, what reward do you wish? Speak freely. Thank you, Your Majesty. After a few exchanges, I've calmed down. This time I used acupuncture to protect the consort's safety. Though a young unmarried woman, I beg Your Majesty's grace to allow me to dress as a man and enter the Imperial Medical Academy to teach this acupuncture to interested physicians. I hope to save more mothers and children in future, accumulating merit for the Sterling clan. Oh! His Majesty is surprised, voice full of interest. Unexpected that a weak woman like you has such grand ambitions. Really should make those old men in the medical academy, who only know to protect themselves and hide their skills like treasure these words, enjoying court salary, but when it matters only know to kneel begging for their lives. His Majesty speaks meaningfully. Your Majesty jests. This commoner only knows this one acupuncture method, has no other talents. If I could enter the medical academy to learn more medicine from those sirs, that would be the greatest reward Your Majesty could grant. Good, very good. His Majesty slaps the table laughing. We approve. Additionally, we grant you 100 taels of gold, 1,000 taels of silver, a box of pearl and jade hairpins, 50 bolts of silk and brocade. The consort will also personally reward you later. Consider this so you have some wealth to choose a husband. Understand? Thank you, Your Majesty. I bow in gratitude and leave. Coming this far, half my revenge plan has succeeded. As for consort Catherine's reward, I must claim it well. Returning to the Whitmore Marquis estate, the granted treasures are piled in the main hall. Lady Victoria prepares red envelopes for the eunuch who came to deliver rewards, but her face is dark as she sits in the master's chair waiting for me. Miss Sterling. Seeing me enter, Lady Victoria coldly says, I truly underestimated your scheming. The Marquis' estate brought you into the palace, you received His Majesty's rewards then immediately cast us aside, didn't you? I slowly run my hand over the gold and silver on the table, voice calm. Laddie Whitmore forgets so quickly. Wasn't it I who wanted to enter the palace? Last night didn't the Marquis and Lady Whitmore kneel begging me to save lives? Bang! Lady Victoria slams the table. If not for the Marquis's sincere efforts, you, a poor orphan, could never dream of touching the palace gates, let alone achieving merit and receiving rewards before His Majesty. The Marquis indeed put in effort. I smile, but my eyes are ice cold. I wonder if the white jade guanyin and South Sea pearls from the Sterling family pleased Princess Anne. When the Sterling family met disaster, the Whitmore family claimed to help but swallowed our treasures. Now when Sophia caused great trouble, the whole estate on the brink, The Whitmore family reluctantly gave those items away to appease, still daring to boast of merit. Lady Victoria's face pales, eyes sharp toward Nanny Ruth beside her. The nanny fearfully kneels immediately. "I didn't tell the miss anything, madam. They think I know nothing. Or think even if I know, I can't do anything." I pick up a jewelry box, smiling at Lady Victoria. "I wonder if the reward, granting eunuch mentioned, these are all granted by His Majesty to a poor orphan like me for choosing a husband in future. Please have someone take everything to my courtyard. Later the consort will also send someone to grant rewards. Displaying them like this, if palace people see, they might think the Marquis' estate is greedy, wanting to profit from an orphan like me. That wouldn't look good." With that, I turn and leave. Behind comes the sound of crashing teacups. So angry already. These matters are just the beginning. The real climax is yet to come. This entire poor Marquis' estate built on my money. I'll make it crumble step by step. At dinner time, the Marquis returns angrily with news that Sophia is punished with half a year's confinement. He himself is punished by His Majesty with a year's salary cut for lax discipline. These powerful people don't really live on that salary. But the Whitmore estate has long been so poor they're selling off assets. Rice isn't even enough to eat. They all now rely on my money to maintain their lifestyle. Previously I was obedient and compliant, letting the Marquis estate refuse matchmaking or betrothal gifts, just relying on one promise to turn my dowry into their private treasury. They enjoy freely, wearing brocade and cloud silk, eating delicacies from land and sea, drinking cloud mist tea at 10 tals of gold per caddy. By now they've consumed dozens of caddies. They're like leeches clinging to me, eating mine, wearing mine, using mine, yet taking my money to smooth things for Sophia in the palace. After long indulgence, they truly think they own gold and silver mountains. But today is different from yesterday. When summoned by consort Catherine in the palace, I asked her to grant a set of locks to seal my dowry kept at the Marquis' estate. Today Nanny Grace from the consort's side will come help me inventory this dowry. Nanny Grace is the consort's trusted head nanny, absolutely loyal. I saved the consort's life. In the nanny's heart I'm a benefactor. This time the nanny volunteered to help me regain control. With her presence, I feel much more secure. Just past noon, Nanny Grace arrives with many people. I step forward respectfully. The consort granted me a set of locks to seal my dowry. "Please help, Nanny." Nanny Grace smiles in response. "No need to worry, miss. I'll move all items the consort granted plus your dowry to your storage. In this Marquis' estate, where do I have storage? My dowry was completely taken by Lady Victoria, stuffed into her private storage. That storage was originally empty to the point of echoing, not even worth entering. Now it's packed full with my dowry." I don't reveal my emotions, just turn with a bright smile toward Lady Victoria. She shows an awkward expression, forcing a smile in response. "Oh, she's just a young girl who hasn't married yet. How could she manage such large wealth? Being small like that, how can she manage? Don't worry, Nanny. I'm her elder and will arrange everything properly for her." Nanny Grace's face immediately darkens, sternly saying, "Madam speaks wrongly." This time the consort faced danger. Fortunately Miss Alina cleverly saved her. Even His Majesty praised her, a weak woman with great ambition. The nanny takes out a shining copper lock from the box beside her, holding it before her chest, continuing. Consort Catherine, precisely worried that Miss Elena, alone and powerless, might struggle to keep this wealth, specially granted a palace lock set for protection. "Madam, it's getting late. Let's quickly move things to storage so this old servant can return to report." Hearing this, the Marquis and ladies' faces turn ashen. The Marquis barely maintains composure, laughing weakly. "Really? Making the consort worry about Miss Sterling like this is our failing." Lady Victoria has no choice but to signal Nanny Ruth with her eyes. She reluctantly forces a smile, saying, "Then we'll trouble you, Nanny." She leads everyone to the inner courtyard. Indeed, she helplessly leads everyone to her own private storage. Nanny Ruth, breathing heavily, has already taken out the key waiting there. As soon as the storage opens, Nanny Grace enthusiastically requests I provide my dowry list for careful inventory. Lily has loyally guarded my dowry list like a treasure. Today it truly proves useful. Nanny Grace takes the list and begins carefully checking. Soon she discovers much of the dowry temporarily kept at the Marquis' estate has been spent. Nanny Grace flies into a rage, immediately saying she'll report to the consort. Lady Victoria trembles like sifting chaff, has to search the entire estate's rooms, gathering from masters and young ladies anything belonging to my dowry to put in storage. Parts the Marquis' estate sold, gifted or spent under Nanny Grace's supervision, are converted to equivalent value or compensated with other items. In less than 3 hours, the entire Whitmore Marquis' estate becomes an empty shell again. The Marquis is both angry and humiliated, but not daring to offend the consort, can only leave with a dark face. Lady Victoria doesn't even bother keeping face, hugging her private makeup box and falling to the ground, crying and wailing like a countrywoman. I, the debt collector, don't feel it appropriate to console, just stand with arms crossed watching this farce with Lily. Nanny Grace contemptuously says, "Now madam finally feels pain for her own things. If you feel wronged, go beat the drums at the yeoman to cry injustice." But our consort doesn't want to hear such nonsense. The nanny mentioning the consort immediately silences Lady Victoria. She stands up looking like death warmed over. The Whitmore men truly are useless. The Whitmore heir, like the Marquis, hides away not daring to show his face, until Nanny Grace directs moving everything out and locks the storage with the palace locks. He still never appears. Most wealth has been reclaimed, but what gives me more headache are the 50 sterling family medicine shops. In just a year and a half, Lady Victoria arbitrarily changed many shops' purposes. Some originally selling cosmetics now became general stores, some selling dried fruits and tea cakes, others trading fabrics and silks. The remaining shops, because business thrived, she replaced all managers, making me lose control. The original shop managers were either sold off or driven away by the Marquis' estate. Though I've reclaimed my wealth, finding skilled managers who once ran the shops can't be done immediately. Lady Victoria, suffering too great a shock, only knows to cry to heaven. I ask but get nothing, so have to set it aside for now. Returning to my small, old courtyard, my heart still burns with indignation. Then a maid beside the old Marquis comes to the door. That maid doesn't bother knocking, directly kicking open my room door. Not even looking at me, she speaks reproachfully. "The Marquis is out of bird's nest soup. Madam says I should come get some. Hand it over quickly." Lily stands blocking her, loudly driving her away. "There's none here, nothing at all." The little maid arrogantly points at Lily's nose and scolds. "If there's none, then early tomorrow morning you must go buy some immediately. By noon it must be delivered. The old Marquis must have it when he wakes. If not, you'll bear the consequences yourself." Indeed, normally they've never considered my courtyard a place where humans live. Lily is so angry her face turns red. I calmly pick up my teacup, taking a sip. The fresh fragrance of cloud mist tea spreads on my tongue. Then I casually speak, "How convenient, no money to buy any, so temporarily don't eat it anymore." The next morning I dress neatly, preparing to have old Peter take me to the Imperial Medical Academy. Before departing, thinking a moment, I instruct him to go find and buy a house, then find some loyal servants. We're moving houses. Old Peter's eyes brighten then redden with emotion, wiping tears. "Miss, this old servant will definitely complete this soon." Lily and I exchange smiles. When I reach the front hall, I see the Marquis and Lady Victoria solemnly sitting waiting in the main hall. The Marquis no longer shows yesterday's anger, instead speaking gently. "Miss Sterling, Princess Anne's concubine is about to give birth. Go stay at Prince Anne's mansion for a few days, wait until the child is born safely then return." Lady Victoria also generously speaks. "About yesterday, I won't haggle anymore. Just give me the dowry storage keys before going out. Remember to have Lily buy some bird's nest, enough for 3 months." This couple truly has no shame. How can they act superior like this while still thinking about eating bird's nest? Do they think I, with no relatives, must stay at the Marquis' estate enduring their oppression and exploitation? I won't let them continue sucking my blood as before. Maintaining a serious expression, I reply, "Lord Marquis, I must go to the Imperial Medical Academy for work every day." "No problem." The Marquis waves his hand, completely unconcerned. "The estate's carriage will follow you. During the day you work at the Medical Academy, at night rest at Prince Anne's mansion." He continues, his tone natural as if everything is perfectly arranged. I don't answer directly but turn to Lady Victoria, asking, "Madam, the other key to the palace lock set is in Consort Catherine's hands. If you want it, you can go ask the consort." She glares at me, full of resentment. "What do you mean? Planning to hoard all that wealth alone?" I find it not worth wasting more words with her, turning to the Marquis and seriously saying, I was once engaged to the heir as his future wife. Now before marriage, I must stay in another's residence to assist a concubine in childbirth. Does his lordship think this appropriate? The Marquis hearing this is stunned, obviously never having considered this. Lady Victoria, already unable to truly accept me as daughter-in-law, being poked at this sore spot, immediately explodes in anger. The engagement between you and Adrian was just a jest between your mother and me. No matchmaker, no proof. Now you're so capable, no need to rely on our Marquis' estate anymore. Go to Prince Anne's mansion and help out. Perhaps Prince Anne in high spirits will grant you a good future. So it was just a jest. This is exactly what I was waiting for. Then Miss Sterling must also marry someday. Someone without relatives like me staying at the Whitmore Marquis' estate is inappropriate. To preserve my reputation, I'll move out soon. The Marquis and Lady Victoria always thought I was infatuated with Adrian, unable to leave the Marquis' estate. They never expected me to propose moving out, leaving them both speechless. Lord Marquis. Lord Marquis. Noise comes from the main gate. A middle-aged man who looks like a shopkeeper leads the way, followed by 8 or 9 workers and 2 Marquis' estate servants. Lord Marquis. The shopkeeper sees the Marquis and quickly bows, saying, "The goods you ordered from our shop have been delivered." The Marquis keeps an unpleasant expression. "Didn't the estate people tell you? We don't need those items anymore." The shopkeeper bows again. Lord Marquis of such noble generations surely knows our trade rules. Once ordered, goods cannot be returned. Please don't make things difficult for this humble one. The Marquis chokes, reluctantly saying, "Then leave them here for now. I'm busy with many matters today. Have the madam call the account manager to settle payment later." The shopkeeper straightens, smiling gently. Lord Marquis must have forgotten. Elegance House has operated for hundreds of years, never having precedent of delivering goods without receiving payment. That's right, that's right. The workers behind also chorus. Elegance House never gives credit, so last night old Peter spread news of the Marquis' estate's poverty, causing everyone to crowd here this morning. The Marquis is extremely embarrassed, trying to hide his difficulty. He coughs, turning to look at me with a forced smile. "Miss Sterling, the madam and I are temporarily short on funds. Could you advance payment for us? Later the madam and I will repay you." Lord Marquis jests. I seriously bow, voice steady in response. "I'm just a poor orphan who must rely on lingering past sentiment between the madam and my late mother to have meals. How would I have money to help Lord Marquis with payments?" The Marquis hears my refusal. His face immediately turns cold, pointing toward the storage. "Isn't your dowry in that storage?" Lord Marquis must have forgotten. I face toward the imperial palace, speaking loudly. "That storage has been sealed by consort Catherine with palace locks. Though it's my dowry. Before marriage even I dare not touch it without permission." My words just finish when the shopkeeper and workers immediately buzz with noisy discussion, filling the main hall. The Marquis's face turns red from the noise, even uglier than when I cleared out his wealth yesterday. Lady Victoria slams the table shouting, "What's all this noise? The Marquis' estate lacks a little money and your children act like this. Really a bunch of merchants who don't know their place. Who's backing you to dare act presumptuously here?" Nanny Ruth from behind steps forward, quietly reporting, "Madam, today is the day to settle payment for the estate's oil, rice and goods. The shopkeepers have been waiting in the back for a while. What should madam do?" Lady Victoria angrily scolds, "What money to pay? Find a way to drive them away." Nanny Ruth stands in place untroubled, not moving. The shopkeepers supplying goods to the Marquis' estate and workers can't bear it anymore, all rushing into the hall. Lady Victoria just scolded Elegance House, now looks down even more on other merchants, ordering people to come and shouting, "Drag all these out. Just cats, dogs, snakes and rats daring to act wild before me." The servants hearing orders immediately rush forward, pushing and driving the shopkeepers and workers out of the estate. Before the Marquis' estate gates, many onlookers have long gathered. Elegance House clearly intends to make this big, seeing citizens gathering even more. They bow then clearly explain the whole situation. Some curious people mixed in the crowd shout, making surrounding residents also gather. In just a moment, before the Marquis' estate gates it's crowded like a marketplace. I lead Lily standing at a distance observing, thinking old Peter is still sharp. In just one morning he's drawn all the Marquis' estate's creditors. The Marquis and Lady Victoria empty-handed, Today definitely won't be able to clean up this mess. Looking at the commotion, a voice calls from behind. Miss Sterling. I turn around to see the Whitmore heir Adrian standing several steps behind me, followed by a group of noble young masters laughing and making teasing signals. Miss Sterling. Adrian looks full of shame, trying to maintain composure, but his voice can't hide urgency. I bet with some friends and lost 500 taels of silver. The estate is in this state now. Could you temporarily advance me 800 taels in banknotes? Later I'll find a way to repay you. I slightly raise an eyebrow, smiling faintly and looking straight at him. Adrian's face gradually turns from red to pale with shame. I cheerfully respond. There's an empty fortune telling stall by the road. The fortune teller probably ran to watch the commotion at the Marquis' estate gates too. I step forward, taking paper and brush from the stall to give Adrian. Young Master Whitmore, write an IOU immediately. Your friends are here to witness. A family so poor the whole capital knows, soon the whole streets spread the story. Even beggars don't dare sit before the Marquis' estate gates, fearing they'll snatch away alms. The continuous chaos makes the whole Marquis' household like rats crossing the street, not daring to show their faces during the day to avoid creditors coming for money. For half a month straight, the Marquis' estate hall is endlessly chaotic. The estate begins dismissing servants, trying to barely maintain appearances. Several dinners haven't had even a piece of meat on the table. The old Marquis is so angry he curses constantly. Instead, my small abandoned courtyard becomes the rare quiet place. At dinner I eat heartily, just finishing a delicious steamed perch old Peter had someone catch. The fish is very fresh, 30 taels each, so delicious even eyebrows want to fall off. Used to eating lavishly, I continuously change dishes to the point Lily's waist has gained several inches. Every dinner time I often hear rustling sounds outside the courtyard. I don't know if just standing and sniffing can fill one's stomach. Old Peter says we need to arrange some men in the courtyard to prevent estate people from stealing food. With those who previously treated me well, sometimes I'm willing to give a little charity. A Grand Marquis estate yet servants starved to this pitiful state, truly rare. These past days, the maid close to the old Marquis, who once came to my courtyard demanding bird's nest, has starved to weakness. Even her hateful glare when looking at me lacks its former power. Instead, Lily looks at her with eyes that could swallow heaven and earth. Old Peter worries something might happen, has quietly gradually moved all my dowry elsewhere for safekeeping. I plan to let the Marquis' estate suffer shortage a few more days, let them destroy themselves, because I have a bigger matter to handle. I entered the Imperial Medical Academy to find one person. In my previous life, after I was beheaded, my soul drifted everywhere with no refuge. Finally flying to the Whitmore Marquis' estate, one day I learned the Sterling family's disaster originated from the old Marquis and Lady Victoria. They coveted our family wealth, conspired with an imperial physician to switch medicines, plotting to kill the entire Sterling family and seize our assets. They mixed large amounts of magnolia bark with earthbone bark and lycium bark, originally tribute medicines from our family. Earthbone bark and magnolia bark not only differ in medicinal properties, but magnolia bark is also poisonous. The Sterling clan, famous for generations of medicine preparation, how could we make such a basic mistake? In just one breath, all Sterling males were thrown in prison. My mother gritted her teeth enduring, running everywhere crying injustice, finally being directed to find distant relative Lady Victoria. After discussion, my mother and Lady Victoria decided to promise my marriage to Adrian, with over half our wealth plus 50 medicine shops given as dowry, entrusting me to the Marquis' estate for Lady Victoria to care for. Unexpectedly, once I entered the Marquis' estate, I could never leave again. Remembering these things, I hate to the point of wanting to become an evil spirit and tear apart those vicious enemies. Living again if I don't take revenge, what meaning is there in living? Unfortunately, in my previous life I couldn't hear the identity of that imperial physician who switched medicines. Though I always followed the old Marquis, he never mentioned this matter again, revealing no clues in conversations with physicians. I know His Majesty won't let me stay at the medical academy too long, so now I must quickly find that physician. 10 days pass, I've recognized nearly everyone in the medical academy from the academy director to the young assistants. Finally 2 people are on my suspect list. The first is Imperial physician Harrison. As I've investigated after the Sterling family's disaster, The Imperial Pharmacy examined and selected suppliers for earthbone bark. The new supplier was recommended by Physician Harrison. What relationship exists between Physician Harrison and the new supplier? Due to the short time, I haven't investigated clearly yet. The second is Medicine Inspector Lawrence at the pharmacy. His position isn't high, but his power is great. He's held this position 3 years. Though he had chances for promotion, he refused. That year, it was Inspector Lawrence who discovered the earthbone bark supplied by the Sterling family was mixed with large amounts of magnolia bark. Between these two, I suspect Physician Harrison more. In my previous life after I died, Adrian got engaged to Princess Vivienne, whom His Majesty favored. After that, the Marquis's estate was extremely glorious. I clearly remember the person in charge of treating the Marquis's estate was Physician Harrison, who by then had been promoted to Medical Academy Director. Currently he's still an ordinary imperial physician without much fame. Without powerful backing. With Physician Harrison's abilities, it would be truly difficult to climb to Academy Director in just a few years. Miss Sterling. While I'm thinking about Physician Harrison, he himself calls out, asking me to accompany him to the General's manor. Since I came to the Medical Academy, the happiest are probably those imperial physicians specializing in women's diseases. Physicians examining ladies, due to gender differences, usually only diagnose through a silk thread, not thoroughly. Though I'm not proficient in medicine beyond that acupuncture set, coming from a medicine-making family, I grasp some basic pharmacology. With my assistance, treatment becomes much smoother. I was looking for a chance to approach Physician Harrison, so without asking further, I just bring my silver needle set and follow him to the General's manor. Only upon arriving at the manor gates do I learn the General's young madam is about to give birth, but having difficulties. In the young madam's courtyard, many people gather. From inside the room, painful moans continuously emerge. Seeing Physician Harrison arrive, they quickly make way. I and the medicine boy carrying supplies follow behind. Just reaching the door, I unexpectedly see a familiar face. Strange to say, since being reborn only a few short days have passed. This is the second time I've met this person. He is the General Manor's second young master, the young madam's brother-in-law. The world calls him young General Marcus. Seeing him, an unusual feeling rises in my heart. This is the General's manor personally granted by His Majesty with the title, Northern Garrison Grand General's Manor. My heart suddenly aches. The Northern Garrison Grand General has 2 sons, eldest Alexander Blackwood, second son Marcus. This spring, the eldest Alexander, guarding the northern pass, was unfortunately ambushed and died in battle far away. Old General Blackwood personally led troops to rescue but was severely wounded, still bedridden, and now the one having difficulty in childbirth is the General Manor's eldest daughter-in-law. She carries Alexander's flesh and blood, the only remaining bloodline of the eldest son. In my previous life, this eldest daughter-in-law once gave birth to twins but died in difficult childbirth. 3 lives lost. The old madam fainted on the spot hearing the news. The old general, overcome with grief, cried bitterly, coughing blood and passing away. Young General Marcus lost all his relatives overnight. While arranging funeral affairs for his father and sister-in-law, wearing mourning clothes, he was spotted by Princess Seraphina, who came to pay respects. Unexpectedly, the next day he was forced into the princess's mansion to become her private plaything. Princess Seraphina originally loved male beauty regardless of status. Whoever she wanted, she took. There's no shortage of those who hate her, but no one dares speak up, especially after the old general died and the general's manor declined. Naturally, no one dared interfere. Marcus has martial skills but wouldn't submit to the princess, wouldn't accept being controlled by drugs. Day after day she bound him, using all punishments to torture him. When I was a wandering soul, I accidentally saw him imprisoned in a cold corner of the courtyard. By then I don't know how many years he'd endured. His whole body covered in wounds, thin to just skin and bones. Standing beside him looking at him, my heart couldn't help but sigh. I was a lowly orphan girl, persecuted to death by relatives. Yet he, the Grand General Manor's second young master with extraordinary skills, also fell to neither human nor ghost. Where is fairness and justice in this world? In my past life, on the Whitmore estate's wedding day, I once found a long fuse, lit it to burn the ropes binding him. But unexpectedly the fire not only burned the rope but spread to the whole room. Flames raged and rolled. Then I gleefully thought of using this method to burn down the entire Marquis's estate. But in the blink of an eye, amid the scorching heat flows, my soul dissipated. Opening my eyes again, I discovered I'd been reborn. This life I've avoided the fate of beheading, but looking at Marcus before me, who's worried about his sister, in-law and nephew, surely he can't imagine the terrible fate awaiting ahead. I silently pass by Marcus, following Physician Harrison into the front hall. The young madam's cries of pain grow clearer. I decide today I'll manage business not mine, persuading the general's manor to entrust the young madam's delivery to me. It's truly not easy. First, I have no rank or title. Though I once helped consort Catherine safely deliver a prince, I myself am not proficient in medicine. This matter among the capital's nobility is just word-of-mouth legend. But to truly entrust delivery responsibility to me, few dare take the risk. Second, the young madam has lost her husband. The child in her womb is Alexander's only flesh and blood, incomparably precious. Third, besides me no one knows these two children ultimately won't be born smoothly. This disaster could make the entire general's manor fall to ruin. The manor people don't know how serious the situation is, but I can't say it out loud. Physician Harrison sends me into the room to carefully examine the young madam's condition. Indeed, the situation is already extremely critical. Signs show the placenta has detached early. If prolonged further, the babies will surely suffocate in the womb. The midwives beside the young madam and Physician Harrison outside all understand this danger. They report the situation to the old madam. Hearing this, the old madam's face immediately pales, only knowing to rely on physicians to find ways to save them. I don't have time to think much, stepping forward to invite Physician Harrison and the old madam aside, then carefully explaining the purple renewal pill's effects. The purple renewal pill uses placenta as the main ingredient. When someone with blood connection to the pregnant woman uses it, it's effective. But if the pregnant woman herself uses it, the effect is even stronger. However, my family's purple renewal pills were prepared by ancestors generations ago, passed down through ages, rarely needing urgent preparation. If Physician Harrison uses my acupuncture method to temporarily extend the delivery process, buying me time to prepare the purple renewal pill, we can ensure mother and children's safety. Hearing this, Physician Harrison bows his head in deep thought. The old madam doesn't understand medicine, doesn't dare decide alone. Just then, somehow Marcus has appeared, speaking to advise, "Mother, sister, in-law is in critical condition. Whatever needs deciding must be decided. Now there's no more suitable method. This Miss Sterling has no relationship with us. If she wasn't certain, surely she wouldn't make this suggestion. Why not try once?" The old madam still hesitates, eyes unconsciously turning toward old General Blackwood lying quietly in the corner. Marcus turns back toward me, clasping his in salute. "Miss Sterling, what medicines and tools do you need to prepare this pill? Please just say, I'll immediately prepare them." Astragalus, chuancheng, safflower, prepared Rehmannia. I immediately report each needed medicine, while emphasizing the need for a quiet room and medicine furnace. Physician Harrison can't think of a better solution, takes my silver needles into the inner chamber. With female physician's assistance, he begins acupuncture on the young madam. Meanwhile, I'm led by Marcus to an empty room. This was where my elder brother practiced martial arts on rainy and snowy days. He looks at me, eyes bright but now slightly red. "Miss Sterling, please prepare the medicine here. Medicines and tools will be delivered immediately." Indeed, not long after, he personally brings supplies, then stands outside guarding, not letting anyone approach. I've carefully cut a portion of placenta from the young madam's lower body. Then follow the medicine preparation steps my mother personally taught when I was young, performing each stage in sequence. Years ago I was stubborn, unwilling to learn medicine making, complaining it was dirty and tiring, the furnace too hot, the medicines smell too acrid. But my mother, who always indulged me, was extremely strict about this, forcing me, a crying, sniffling child, to practice making pills again and again, until 9 out of 10 batches succeeded before letting go. While I'm busily making medicine, my mother's words from years ago echo in my ears. Purple renewal pills pass from mother to child to grandchild, not bound by clan, not exploited by the powerful. Only bloodline is our most solid support for existence. My daughter, learning this skill, even if mother is no longer in this world someday, you can still safely exist in this mortal realm. The medicine furnace burns hot, medicinal fragrance spreads, acrid to the point of making my eyes sting. But now I have no more tears to shed. Perhaps Alexander's soul in the underworld is protecting, or perhaps the medicines Marcus brought are all top quality. In this urgency, I unexpectedly succeed in one pill, making attempt. Using astragalus water to dissolve the medicine, I carefully feed it to the young madam, then perform acupuncture again. When withdrawing the needles, baby cries wah, sound out, one boy, one girl. Like Jade and Snow, adorable twins have been safely born. The entire Genermanor overflows with boundless joy. The steward leads servants to the main gate to set off firecrackers and give money. When the fireworks light up, I realize it's already the second watch. Outside the window is a quiet, dense night. Physician Harrison has already taken the medicine boy back to the office. I'm sent by the old madam's trusted nanny to change into clean clothes. Stepping out of the room, I see Marcus waiting at the courtyard gate. Miss Sterling. He approaches speaking softly. The Whitmore Marquis Estate's young master arrived a moment ago, saying he wants to escort you back. He's currently waiting in the front hall. I gently press my temples, head feeling somewhat heavy, thinking what intentions could Adrian have. Though he regrets losing my wealth, he's always wanted to marry Princess Vivienne, never willing to reveal our relationship before others. Surely pressured by the Marquis, and holding that IOU in my hand, he reluctantly came here, deliberately choosing late-night quietness just to put on a show. I don't want him to have his way. Second young master. I bow toward Marcus saying, I'm truly too exhausted. I want to rest a few hours in the room just used for medicine making. Could young master reply to the Whitmore young master for me that I'll go to the medical academy at the Mao hour, not daring to trouble him with the effort. Marcus nods. I'll go tell him. Then he calls a maid to lead the way for me, turning and striding out. The eldest young master's martial arts practice room still maintains its appearance from when I just finished making medicine. On the table, medicine ingredients are still messy, not yet cleared. The furnace fire has died, but the smell of burnt medicine still lingers in the air. A nanny brings several maids carrying a small table set with 4 plates of simple vegetables, 4 breakfast items, and a bowl of steaming hot soup. The nanny also reports bedding has been prepared in the adjacent room, inviting me to rest there temporarily. I thank them but have no appetite. After clearing the furnace and medicines, I take the rice wine jar used to dissolve medicine for the young madam, lean against the small table, sipping slowly. The third watch drum sounds. The moon has moved west. Through the open window I can see moonlight shining on the blue stones in the courtyard, white as bones. I push open the window, poking my head out to look, accidentally meeting Marcus Blackwood's eyes. He hasn't had time to look away, his eyes bright in the night making me somewhat dazed. Miss Sterling. Seeing I've discovered him, Marcus decisively approaches near the window. It's late but you still haven't rested. Is the manor too noisy? Seeing me holding the wine jar, he continues. Had I known you liked drinking, I would have had someone bring a jar of Shoxing October Snow. This wine has rich fragrance, very suitable for ladies. This wine is already very good. I smile, refusing. I've never drunk wine before, but I've seen my father and mother drink. Just wine jars like this, with this golden color. Thank you today for saving my sister, in-law and nephew and niece. He speaks softly. It's the young madam's good fortune. I answer. 2 refined purple renewal pills can only use placenta from women giving birth to daughters as the main ingredient. If the young madam wasn't carrying dragon and phoenix twins, if the placenta hadn't detached early, I'm afraid I'd be helpless too. I heard purple renewal pills are your family's secret hereditary medicine. From now on they won't be anymore. Marcus shows unease, seriously saying, for your great kindness, the general's manor doesn't know how to repay. I look at him. This young man has heroic spirit, sword-like eyebrows and star-like eyes. I ask, does the general truly wish to repay the kindness? Marcus is stunned. Then ever you need, if Marcus can do it, I'll definitely exhaust all efforts. Don't wear white clothes anymore in future, I say. What? He widens his eyes looking at me as if not believing his ears. That's right, I nod, repeating. No matter what happens for 20 years. My gaze rests on his handsome eyebrows and face. Under moonlight he's so handsome it makes my heart flutter. I then change my words. 20 years. From now for the next 20 years, don't wear white clothes. This is the repayment I want. Why? Because... I hesitate a moment then say, well, you don't look good in white clothes. Last time you saw me I wasn't wearing white. Tonight either. Why say I don't look good in white? Last time. I widen my eyes in surprise. What words are these? Could he also have memories from the previous life? But even so, back then he was human, I was a soul, he absolutely couldn't see my form. Perhaps my surprise is too obvious. The corner of Marcus's mouth lifts slightly, eyes carrying a smile. When I was on night duty in the palace, I always only saw a mass of lowered servant heads. Only your eyes stared straight at me. Why today do you seem not to remember? Oh, he's talking about the day I entered the palace. How would I know my gaze then was so obvious? Ah, I remember. I stammer, trying to gloss over the matter. Then why say I don't look good in white? Marcus pursues relentlessly. I feel my ears burning hot. Lying is truly too difficult. Second young master, don't you want to repay the kindness anymore? Of course not. Then it's decided. I put down the wine jar, closing the window. At the Mao hour, the general's manor sends a carriage to take me to the medical academy. I deliberately discuss with Physician Harrison about the medicine formulas and acupuncture used yesterday, taking this opportunity to close our distance. The next few days I always find ways to follow Physician Harrison. I can't help but wonder. If he really was the one who harmed the Sterling family years ago, he should recognize my identity and be on guard. But his attitude shows no vigilance. Even when I follow him to the pharmacy to inspect medicines, he shows no rejection. The pharmacy isn't far from the medical academy, but completely different inside. The medical academy, where physicians somewhat like cleanliness from arrangement to order everything is neat and tidy. But the pharmacy is spacious and chaotic. Various medicines either in boxes or bags pile on wooden shelves. Pharmacists and medicine boys busily come and go. Along both sides of the medicine corridor are rows of small rooms of uniform size. Some rooms have doors tightly closed, some wide open. Signs on doors clearly indicate each room's function. I follow Physician Harrison into the medicine corridor. He tells a medicine boy to lead me to inspect newly arrived batches of poria and crane grass. Taking advantage when no one notices, I sneak deeper inside. I've heard the room at the very end is Inspector Lawrence's office. Today he's not here. I rarely have chances to stay long at the pharmacy, so I must take a look. Inspector Lawrence's door isn't locked. I gently push it open and enter. Indeed, no one's inside. The room isn't large. A desk sits in the middle. Against the wall is a wooden shelf filled with various medicine samples. Glancing over, I notice inside the wooden shelf is a low cabinet. I approach to look, the cabinet door is locked tight, can't be pulled open. But trying to pull, it opens a small crack. I peer through the gap. Inside is pitch dark, only one object placed at an angle reflects light. In the light shining in, it looks very much like my family's jade rabbit. My heart suddenly shakes. I want to pry the cabinet lock to open and see more clearly. Suddenly hearing someone approaching from outside, I have to hurriedly stop, looking around for a hiding place, but it's empty on all sides. Only option is to pull the window latch, gently push open, planning to climb out. Just pushing the door, I'm startled to see someone standing right before my eyes. I'm so frightened I almost cry out. That person is the General Manor's second young master, Marcus. He quickly covers my mouth tightly, his other hand grabs my waist, lifting me through the window. Using his shoulder to close it, he pulls me toward a resting pavilion behind the pharmacy. He sets me down on the stone bench. I still haven't recovered. What was the young lady looking for? He asks in a low voice. I don't answer. I myself don't know clearly what I might find. Even if I knew, I couldn't tell him. Could it be you're looking for evidence to overturn the Sterling family's case? He asks again. I'm amazed, raising my head to look at him. How do you know about me? I need to know why you won't let me wear white. He sits down opposite, calmly saying, So do you know yet? Not yet. He raises his hand, scratching his head, smiling awkwardly. Looking at his thick, neat black hair tied tuttily, I unconsciously remember his previous life appearance, messy hair, his whole person like a dried corpse in the princess's mansion. I sigh, changing my plan. In the cabinet in that room just now, there's a jade object that looks very much like my family's jade rabbit. Second young master, could you get it out for me without alerting anyone? Wait here, don't go anywhere. Marcus instructs, then stands and leaves. In less than half a cup of tea, he returns holding something in his arms, placing it on the stone table. I pick it up, feeling the bottom of the jade rabbit. Indeed, there's a small character, Sterling, carved there. A cold current flows from my eyes, but when I raise my hand to wipe my face, there are no tears. Marcus sits beside me for a while, then takes the jade rabbit to examine, suddenly saying, "This is a sterling family item. How is this matter? Let me handle it for you." A few days later, Marcus finds a series of evidence and brings it before me. It's a list of the Whitmore Marquis estate buying large quantities of magnolia bark a year and a half ago, then giving it to Inspector Lawrence, along with evidence of gifting him a box of jade, ivory, pearls and treasures, and a box of precious medicines. All are possessions belonging to the Sterling family. I originally suspected Physician Harrison colluding with the Marquis to harm my family, but unexpectedly the one truly conspiring with the Marquis estate is Inspector Lawrence, someone without much fame or power. Someone like him doesn't know how many times he's done such things, destroying how many families, completely not considering commoners like us as anything. He brazenly displays the plundered items in his cabinet without any hesitation, as if certain no one would dare expose him. My heart feels cut by sharp knives piece by piece. "What do you plan to do?" Marcus asks. "Go to the Ministry of Justice to beat drums and cry injustice," I answer, eyes sharp without hesitation. This moment I've waited for through 2 lifetimes. I don't just want the Whitmore Marquis estate and Inspector Lawrence to pay life for life, reclaim what belongs to the Sterling family, but also wash clean my family's grievances, restore our ancestors' reputation. Marcus furrows his brow. Beating drums to cry injustice will be punished with 20 cane strikes. He looks at me, eyes full of worry. "You can't endure it. As long as I don't die, I can endure. Compared to the pain of losing relatives I've borne through 2 lifetimes, this bit of flesh pain is nothing." "Let me help you," Marcus says. I shake my head. "No need. Second young master has already helped me overcome the biggest difficulty. The remaining matters I can handle myself. Nothing compares to life-saving grace." He firmly looks at me, eyes bright as stars. In that moment I'm slightly dazed, thinking he's remembered things from the previous life when I used my soul to accompany and help him. "You saved my sister-in-law, nephew and niece," he slowly says. "My elder brother just passed not long ago. If something happened to the 3 of them, with father's injuries, I'm afraid he couldn't bear this pain. The General's manor owes you 4 lives." He doesn't give me a chance to object, immediately taking all the evidence and leaving. The next day he personally presents evidence to the Ministry of Justice. Under the General Manor's prestigious name, the Sterling family's wrongful case is brought up for retrial. My child. Lady Victoria sits beside me, using a silk handkerchief to wipe tears while crying and sighing. I didn't expect her second uncle to be so greedy, doing such vicious things. Really hateful. The Marquis and I knew nothing about it. A moment of carelessness harmed your grandparents and parents to death. I coldly watch her perform this monologue. I knew the Marquis estate was shameless, but didn't expect them to be shameless to this degree. The Ministry of Justice has retried the Sterling family case of being wrongly accused of mixing magnolia bark with earthbone bark in medicines. After finding witnesses and evidence, finally concluding the Sterling family is innocent. The judgment returns all confiscated property. The Whitmore Marquis estate and Inspector Lawrence committed crimes of false accusation and harming others, thrown in prison. The masterminds receive death penalty, to be executed in autumn. Evidence is clear, but the Marquis and Lady Victoria can still push all guilt onto the second household to escape punishment. The one responsible for purchasing medicines, switching medicines, and bringing bribes to Inspector Lawrence years ago was indeed the Marquis's blood brother. Everything in the estate is handled by the second household. The Whitmore Marquis, bearing noble title, naturally wouldn't directly participate in such trivial matters. But without the Marquis's direction, how could a second household, with neither position nor power, do things like seizing property and killing others? I clench my fists tightly, nails digging deep into flesh without feeling pain. I'm unwilling. This isn't the result I wanted. Lady Victoria cries for a while. Seeing me just sitting coldly, expression unchanged, she stops. "My child, the second household did such terrible things. The Marquis has said, though they're flesh and blood relatives, he absolutely won't cover for them, or be lenient." She wants to hold my hand, but I skillfully avoid it, just raising my hand to lift the teacup on the table. Lady Victoria sighs, continuing, "My child, I know in your heart you surely resent the Marquis and me. But rest assured, from now on you'll be the legitimate wife of this manor. When Adrian inherits the title, you'll become the Marquis's wife." The Marquise and I will support you so no one in the entire capital dares look down on you. Madam. I put down the teacup, voice calm. Not mentioning that day Madam said this engagement was just a jest. Just the matter of the Marquise' estate harming the Sterling family to destruction. How could I enter the Marquise's doors? Call the Marquise and Madam father and mother, call the second master second uncle. Lady Victoria forces a smile. That day I was too angry and misspoke. How could you take it seriously? When your mother was dying, she entrusted you to me, made an engagement with Adrian. How dare I go against the deceased's wishes? If my mother knew that coming to Madam years ago was no different from sending a sheep into a tiger's mouth, I'm afraid in the underworld she still regrets and resents deeply. Madam, in over a year now, have you never dreamed of my mother coming to demand your life? Hearing me say this, Lady Victoria's face immediately turns pale, lips trembling slightly. Miss Sterling. Nanny Ruth quickly speaks up. You shouldn't think like that. Madam treated your mother and you with utmost sincerity. The young master is the Marquise estate's legitimate eldest son, incomparably noble. You come from merchant background and are an orphan, yet Madam mentioned marriage and immediately said an engagement. What could be more generous? Moreover, I stand up, using a handkerchief to gently brush wrinkles from my clothes, decisively tearing away all pretense. You don't need to keep deceiving me. Adrian day and night dreams of Princess Vivienne. I'm afraid even stray cats and dogs throughout the capital know he won't marry me. The noble consort has pardoned me. Tomorrow I'll enter the palace. I heard she wants to return the Sterling family property previously confiscated. Though the Sterling family residence in the capital isn't large, this bit of dowry still has a place to put it. Also, here's 800 taels of silver. I take out the IOU Adrian wrote that day, waving it before Lady Victoria. That day the young master personally wrote this IOU. The noble young masters all witnessed it. While it's not yet dark, Madam should repay it all soon. Beside the noble consort is Nanny Grace, who's skilled at managing finances. That day Madam already experienced it. Tomorrow I'll have to trouble the nanny once more. Ah, Nanny Ruth, please help Madam prepare tonight. If there's not enough, then before sunset quickly go borrow. Don't make Nanny Grace wait long tomorrow. Lady Victoria hearing me mention Princess Vivienne, and saying I'll take my dowry and wealth to leave, her face turns blue and purple. She stands up then sits down, hands gripping the handkerchief tightly, veins clearly visible. I don't look at Lady Victoria again. In my heart I only think Sophia's good days are also coming to an end. After careful consideration, I go straight to the second household. The second household is now shrouded in a gloomy atmosphere. The second madam lies sick in bed, her young son crying nonstop beside her. In the courtyard Isabella Whitmore stands wiping tears. Seeing me arrive, Isabella immediately bursts into tears, rushing over wanting to claw at me, mouth crying and shouting nonstop. What are you doing here? My father has been thrown in prison by you, sentenced to death. You still have the face to see my mother. I didn't come to see the second madam. I push her away gently, slowly saying, your father in prison isn't my doing. Who pushed him out to bear the guilt? The whole capital knows clearly. You're grown up now, surely you can see through such simple logic. Of course Isabella understands it's the Marquis's idea, but how dare she criticize the Marquis? She can only vent her anger on me. Her small face puffs up like a pufferfish, eyes glaring at me full of hatred. I pull from my hair bun a jade, inlaid gold hairpin, presenting it before her. Pretty. This is a hairpin His Majesty rewarded me after I saved the consort and little prince. Such ornaments I have a whole box. The palace never lacks such rare items. Isabella is 2 years younger than me. In my previous life she often came to my courtyard. Using her status as the Marquis's young miss, she practically ransacked my jewelry and clothes. Back then my parents were both dead, my heart was numb, no longer caring about these material things, letting her take them. Unexpectedly, with a greedy mind like Isabella's, even now seeing this precious hairpin, her tears immediately stop. Her eyes clearly show desire. Her hands raise and lower, as if wanting to snatch but not daring. I actively pin the hairpin in her hair. She's amazed, looking up at me, tremblingly touching the hairpin lightly. So beautiful. Isabella has come of age now. Her looks truly aren't inferior to Sister Sophia, I praise. Of course. Sister Sophia is several years older than me. Isabella proudly smiles. Speaking of Sophia, I pause slightly. After so many years, she still can't advance in rank, can't help the Marquis' estate at all. This time even the second master couldn't be saved. Actually, a woman's beauty only shines for a short time. Once it passes, it means missing those who know how to appreciate it. Isabella, tomorrow I'm entering the palace to meet consort Catherine. Do you want to come with me to request staying with Sister Sophia for a few days? I can go. Her eyes bright and trembling as she asks. Course, I nod. Consort Catherine doesn't favor Sophia because of the difficult birth incident. But you're young yet clever and nimble. If you can stay by Sister Sophia helping her, winning favor with palace people, then not only will your father be safe, but from now on your second household in the Marquis estate won't be looked down upon by anyone. Isabella joyfully cries out, not minding I'm still here, immediately runs into the room to tell her mother the good news. Letting her bite, she definitely won't disappoint me. At dusk, I and Lily pack in our room, preparing for tomorrow's move. Suddenly flute music sounds outside. The melodious tone, unlike usual cheerful liveliness, carries lingering resentment, plaintive and sorrowful. I step out of the room, indeed seeing Adrian standing under the peach tree. His brocade clothes and manner, just like in my previous life, make me nauseous at just a glance. This is the last move the Whitmore Marquis estate wants to use on me, despicable to the point of disgust. The peach blossom season has passed, leaving only lush green leaves crowding high and low branches. Under the setting sun casting brilliant light, the tree remains as before, the flute as before, the person as before, but I'm already a different person, bathed in flames and reborn. In my previous life, in this life, for the first time I step forward to stand beside Adrian, shoulder to shoulder. He puts down the bamboo flute, sighing softly, Elena. I don't look at him, just pointing west where the sunset burns red like fire. We speak in unison. Do you see those red clouds? Do they look like the wronged blood of the entire Sterling family? I don't remember any past affection. He timidly says. Can you return that I owe you from that day? Indeed, he's just a weak person without backbone. Family property confiscated by the government, wanting it returned isn't easy. Thanks to consort Catherine standing up for me, a small orphan girl, even sending Nanny Grace to represent me in negotiations. In just a short time I've completed the inventory procedures and moved back to the Sterling family residence in the capital. The consort seems to still remember some affection for Sophia, keeping Isabella in the palace to accompany Sophia in verbal sparring for amusement. When Lady Victoria hears the news, she's so angry she smashes everything in her room. But in the end she can only maintain face by going to the second household to pretend to warn them. With no other options, most of the confiscated property is returned intact. My dowry at the Whitmore Marquis estate, under Nanny Grace's pressure, is also opened from storage and moved from Lady Victoria's room to the Sterling residence. The 800 taels of silver on Adrian's IOU, who knows who he begged, he actually pays me back in full. When I move out, I can't help but be vigilant, thinking even a broken ship has 3 pounds of nails. With these people, one absolutely cannot relax. A blink and summer arrives, the weather growing hotter by the day. The General's Manor holds a 100-day celebration for the grandson and granddaughter. Marcus personally brings an invitation, inviting me to attend. I look at the date on the invitation, my heart slightly moved. In my previous life, it was this very day that Prince Anne's mansion held a full-month celebration for a concubine's son. My soul then still followed behind Adrian, personally witnessing him chatting happily with Princess Vivienne by the lotus pond at Prince Anne's mansion. The two were perfectly matched in sentiment. Not long after, they petitioned His Majesty for marriage, elevating the Whitmore Marquis estate to the clouds. Though the Whitmore Marquis estate is now just an empty shell, with Princess Vivienne as support, they could turn things around anytime. By then, not only would I be unable to collect the blood of over 10 lives, I'm afraid I'd have to endure their oppression once again. To prevent this from happening, on the night of the banquet, I arrive very early. The General's wife and young madam, seeing me arrive, are extremely delighted, leading me to see the twins. The 2 children are raised fair and plump, with small mouths and tiny but soft and healthy hands gripping my sleeves tightly, as if knowing I'm the one who changed their fate, helping them safely come into this world. I gently hold their tiny fingers like baby radishes, unable to suppress a smile. Looking up, I see young General Marcus staring straight at me, his eyes bright. Not seeing each other for days, he looks like someone infatuated to the point of losing his soul, as if afraid I'll run away. He completely ignores the teasing looks of those around him. My face burns hot as I hurriedly make excuses to leave, stepping outside to stroll. The general's manor differs completely from other civil officials' residences. The buildings and courtyards are all spacious and bright with heroic grandeur. The general's wife originally came from Jeongnan, so there are also pavilions, towers, and intimate lake scenery. I slowly walk along the lakeside, deliberately hiding in the tree shadows. Sure enough, at the hour of the dog, Princess Vivienne slowly approaches, gracefully standing at the bridge corridor over the lake to enjoy the scenery. I immediately call out to Marcus, who's been following not far behind. "Second young master." I signal for the maids and guards to withdraw, then speak softly to him. "Do me a favor. Later I'll lead the princess away from here. Young master, prepare a set of white clothes, find a way to make the Whitmore hair change into them, then lead him this way." White clothes. Marcus frowns. "I don't have white clothes." I raise an eyebrow looking at him. He leans in closer, lowering his voice even more. "Miss Sterling, didn't you tell me not to wear white for 20 years? I've already given all my white clothes to Steward Feng's grandson." My heart can't help but sigh, so obedient it's irritating. "Then please trouble young master to get a set of white clothes from Steward Feng's grandson for Adrian to wear." Adrian and Marcus have similar builds, just Adrian is slightly thinner. His face is pale. Though not as handsome as Marcus, under moonlight and water reflections he's not inferior to any male favorite in Princess Seraphina's mansion. Seeing me speak seriously, Marcus's eyes flash with amusement. Without asking why, he nods in agreement and leaves. I step out from the tree shadows, walking toward the bridge corridor over the lake. Seeing someone approach, the nanny beside Princess Vivienne speaks up to block me. I bow, explaining my identity. Indeed, the princess and nanny both show interest. Everyone knows about consort Catherine safely delivering a prince, and many about my acupuncture. When the general's young madam gave birth to twins, throughout the capital, from noble ladies to officials' wives, everyone has heard about the miraculous effects of the purple renewal pill. Childbirth is death's door that any woman must face. Even someone as noble and powerful as a consort almost lost her life in difficult birth. Any woman who's heard of the purple renewal pill's miraculous effects, who wouldn't be moved? I deliberately put on a greedy appearance, suggesting I'll write down the pill preparation and usage method for the princess, while explaining in detail. Under the nanny's urging, the princess leads me to the front courtyard, borrowing a room and writing materials from the young madam. While writing the prescription, I hear noise and commotion outside. The princess sends someone to ask, "It's Princess Seraphina arriving." I forcefully suppress my excitement, silently praying Princess Seraphina remains like in my previous life, still loving to seek beautiful men in white in quiet places. After finishing writing the prescription, I carefully instruct the princess's nanny. After deliberately dawdling for a while, I finally step out of the courtyard. Suddenly a black shadow jumps down from a tree, grabbing my elbow and pulling me away. I look carefully, it's Marcus Blackwood. He pulls me past several turns, then brings me up a small pavilion built of blue stone. The second-floor window of the pavilion is open, facing directly toward the lake. We both stand silently by the window looking down. A group of people is walking down from the bridge corridor. Leading is a woman in magnificent ceremonial dress, Princess Seraphina. Following her is a group of palace maids and nannies. At the very back, several tall servants are escorting someone with their head covered by a cloth bag, stumbling along. I turn to look at Marcus beside me. He leans against the wooden pillar in the pavilion with arms crossed, eyes intently watching me. His face hidden in shadow makes his expression unclear. This deep blue robe really fits perfectly. Later I must have the elder sister make several more sets. He speaks softly, voice lum. "You're truly clever." I answer flatly, avoiding his burning gaze in the darkness. Soon the news that the Whitmore heir was taken as Princess Seraphina's male favorite spreads throughout the capital. From main streets to small alleys, everyone knows. The Marquis sends people to the princess's mansion demanding his return. Lady Victoria even personally takes a carriage there, but all are driven out by the princess's servants without any face savant. If I were still at the Marquis' estate, the Marquis would surely seize my property to beg Prince Anne. Now in the entire estate, the most valuable thing is probably only the copper incense burner in the ancestral hall used for offering incense to ancestors. I heard they've started selling maids. Where's the money to arrange a way out? After they run around headlessly for several useless days, I actively visit. My child. Lady Victoria grabs my hand crying. She's lost all noble bearing. Her unpowdered face looks even more haggard and aged. Unexpectedly, only in times of trouble do we see true feelings. I didn't expect Adrian to suffer such great humiliation. Our usual friends all close their doors, refusing visitors. Only you, my child, still remember old affection, willing to come help. Madam should be careful with words. I immediately clarify our relationship. I have no connection with the young master. Now that he's caught the princess's eye, Madam shouldn't randomly make associations that damage the young master's reputation and upset the princess. Hearing this, Lady Victoria wails miserably. Reputation. What reputation remains? My son has been completely ruined by that vicious woman. Nanny Ruth sees her words are improper, desperately covers Lady Victoria's mouth despite propriety. Nothing more can be said. What about Sophia in the palace? I pretend to care and ask. Schimpf. The second madam sitting in a chair beside us waves her sleeve, mockingly saying, "What consort Sophia? A few days ago she offended the noble consort and was demoted to attendant. She's not even as good as relying on my Isabella, who's more favored by the consort." Shut your mouth. Lady Victoria angrily shouts. If not for your daughter betraying and harming her sister in the palace, how would my Sophia be demoted? We're all in the same estate. Glory together, shame together. Sophia meets disaster, what good do you get? The second madam points to the wilted silk flower on her head, coldly laughing. Glory. We haven't seen any. But shame, we've borne plenty on your behalf. You offended nobles, even my dowry was completely taken. My poor Isabella, bearing the Marquis's young miss title, but so poor she doesn't even have flowers to wear. My husband still suffers in prison. Who knows when his head will leave his neck? Speaking of this, the second madam suddenly bursts into loud crying. Isabella is just filial. If the Marquis, her uncle, and her two attendant sisters had been somewhat reliable, would she need to enter the palace bowing and scraping before nobles? People from your family enter the palace occupying positions and titles, then use my husband as a shield. Shut up, you cheap woman. I'll tear apart your poisonous mouth. Lady Victoria rushes over to tussle with the second madam. Grown nannies and maids hurriedly rush forward, hands and feet in chaos pulling them apart. I sit properly in my chair, silently watching them fight like dogs, not saying a word. After Lady Victoria calms down, I have everyone withdraw, then sincerely say, "Madam, I have two methods. I wonder if you trust me and want to try." Lady Victoria originally suspected me, especially after I cleaned out the Marquis' estate's wealth. But now at the end of her rope, she can only look at me with tear-filled eyes, speechless. Nanny Ruth quickly steps forward answering, "Miss Sterling is truly loyal and righteous. Whatever methods, please tell us. Our madam loves the young master. As long as he can return safely, any method she's willing to try." I weigh the plan in my heart again, then speak. Princess Seraphina is the third prince's sister. Others' words she might not hear, but the third prince's words she must consider. I heard recently the third princess consort wants to buy a hot spring estate. Madam could take this opportunity to help. Perhaps you could pass word to the third princess consort. That's also a thread of hope. Lady Victoria immediately stands up, eyes darting back and forth, expression both shocked and doubtful. She once secretly bought a hot spring estate, giving the papers to Nanny Ruth to hide well. Even the Marquis doesn't know. Though the estate faces difficulties, she refuses to sell it. Yet I hit the mark. In my previous life, when I was just a wandering soul in the estate, I accidentally overheard this matter. Someone like her, I won't let her keep any property in hand. There's one more method. I sip my tea, slowly saying, "My family's shopkeepers once opened a medicine supply route into the princess's mansion. Only I was young then and don't remember clearly which shop's keeper it was. If madam can find those shopkeepers who left, I'll ask each one. Perhaps through this we could enter the princess's mansion to visit the young master. If we meet the right opportunity, who knows, we might safely bring the young master out." Lady Victoria grits her teeth, eyes boring into me. Her red, rimmed eyes look ready to bleed. "Right, I just want her to find my family's shopkeepers. Take them and bring them back, not missing a single one. The Marquis' estate is already this destitute, yet she still can't bear to sell that hot spring estate. I just want to see between the little remaining property and her only son, which will she choose?" No one speaks. I've seen enough of the Marquis' estate exposing their true colors, so I stand to take my leave. In the following days, my family's old shopkeepers come one by one to pay respects and inquire after me. I know Lady Victoria has believed my words. Though she clearly understands I hate the Marquis' estate for destroying my family, she still always believes I'm hopelessly in love with Adrian. No matter how much I hate her and the Marquis, I won't harm the young master, because I still cherish old feelings in my heart. I truly don't understand where she gets such confidence. But I haven't completely deceived her. When I was still a wandering soul in the princess's mansion, I once saw shopkeeper Lee from my family come deliver medicines. Later I learned shopkeeper Lee's brother-in-law is the princess mansion's head steward. With shopkeeper Lee as intermediary on a dark night I lead Lady Victoria and Nanny Ruth, both in disguise, to sneak into Princess Seraphina's mansion. Compared to Marcus's condition in my previous life, Adrian now is truly much better. But under the flickering candlelight, one can still clearly see on his naked body the whip marks, bite marks, and burn blisters covering him. Lady Victoria hasn't even approached before breaking down crying. Adrian hears the sound and turns to look. Recognizing us, he's so terrified he quickly pulls the bed curtain to cover himself, face full of shame and resentment. I calmly say, "Long time no see. Are you well?" Adrian doesn't dare face his family, pulling the bed curtain tightly over his head, absolutely refusing to meet us. From the first time I met him, I knew he was someone who thought himself noble. But that nobility was just ephemeral as wind, never penetrating to his bones. I truly worried if he stayed in the princess's mansion too long, gradually he'd bow and submit. Perhaps he'd even gain the princess's favor and rely on her to wait for his chance. My heart secretly grows anxious, but looking at him now, clearly he still hasn't thought things through. Even so, I don't plan to give him time. I have shopkeeper Lee take the crying Lady Victoria and Nanny Ruth outside, then stand by the bed beginning to talk with him. "Young master," I slowly say, "we snuck in here with difficulty. Now isn't the time for your shame. If you want to leave the princess's mansion, there are currently 2 ways for you to choose." He still doesn't remove the curtain from his face, voice dejected as he asks, "What's the first way?" "The first way," I answer, "is you leave with us immediately, flee the capital overnight and swear never to return." Though the Whitmore Marquis' estate would suffer the princess's anger for this, it wouldn't cost lives. Just endure 8 or 10 years, wait for the princess's anger to cool, and it will pass. He's silent for a while, then asks, "What about the other way?" "The other way requires the young master to suffer some grievance. I've already heard recently Princess Seraphina has an important shipment she wants transported out of the capital, but doesn't want to alert others. Though my sterling family has no great abilities, transporting hundreds of boxes of medicines across the great north and south, from waterways to land routes, secretly without others noticing, we can do this. If the young master can please the princess, cleverly speak and actively take on this matter, not only can you walk out of the princess's mansion openly, but also take the opportunity to leave the capital for a time. In the estate we've already offered a hot spring estate to the 3rd princess consort. After you leave, we'll offer several more handsome youths to the princess. If 2 aren't enough then 4, if 4 aren't enough then 8. By the time you return, the princess will have forgotten old matters. Adrian listens for a long time without answering. I'm not anxious either, leisurely counting the beams on the ceiling, waiting for him to speak. Task, the Whitmore heir clearly isn't as favored by the princess as young General Marcus was. Remembering Marcus's room, even the beams and pillars were made of solid golden wood. When burned they released a fragrance both medicinal and fruity, intoxicatingly sweet. After about the time of 1 incense stick, Adrian finally begins asking details about the Sterling family's medicine transport routes out of the capital. I don't hide anything, telling him everything in detail. As we're about to leave, he softly says, "Alana, when I escape trouble in future, I definitely won't disappoint you." Good thing he's still covering his face, not seeing my expression when hearing those words. I freeze mid-step, almost tripping. He's overthinking. I don't need him, I just want his life. 2 days later, Adrian has someone pass word inviting shopkeeper Lee to the princess's mansion through the back door to discuss cargo transport plans. The time is set for the 3rd night. The Sterling family prepares 12 large carts of medicines. At the hour of the pig, the convoy stops at the princess mansion's back door. Adrian, along with a pale, plump eunuch close to the princess, are responsible for escorting the shipment out of the capital. The princess's goods are mixed among dozens of boxes of sterling medicines, moving by water to avoid attention. That night I dress as a man, leading the convoy forward. Adrian, with his weak appearance, and that round pale eunuch take turns directing the strong servants in the mansion to move the princess's cargo boxes. The princess's mansion is pitch black, quiet as if not a soul exists. In the night everyone moves extremely fast, all wearing dark neat clothing, sleeves and pant legs tied tight, tall figures with strong arms, footsteps making no sound. When all the cargo boxes are loaded and tied securely on the carts, Adrian and the eunuch each sit at one end of the convoy. The servants follow in neat formation behind. The eunuch shouts softly and the convoy begins rolling. This is exactly the moment I've been waiting for. I pull from my clothes a fire arrow, the cloud, piercing arrow Marcus gave me, light it and throw it forcefully into the sky. The arrow flies through the air emitting brilliant light and piercing sound, making everyone look up. Adrian and the eunuch quickly jump from the carriages, eyes full of panic. In just a moment, flames from countless torches surrounding the princess's mansion blaze up, illuminating the whole area. Where black shadows of trees planted in crossing rows layer upon layer, soldiers holding torches and weapons stand packed together. Leading is Marcus Blackwood riding a tall horse, bearing severe authority. He coldly points toward the 12 large carts, shouting loudly, "Search! Stop!" The pale round eunuch shrilly screams, "Who are you? Do you know these are the princess's goods? No one dares touch them." Marcus's expression doesn't change, nor does he move. The soldiers in front don't stop either, quickly surrounding the servants following the convoy, while advancing to open all the cargo boxes on the carts. Inside the boxes are letters, silver notes, land deeds, gold and silver, jade items, and brocades. The eunuch is still screaming, the servants begin struggling, trying to break the encirclement. Meanwhile, lights in the princess's mansion gradually brighten. From deep inside come footsteps and chaotic sounds. In the confusion, I take the opportunity to approach the 9th cart. This cart's box has also had its lid opened. Inside are brocades embroidered with exquisite patterns, even more magnificent under the firelight. I reach in, quickly pulling out layer after layer of fabric. At the 2nd layer, an imperial robe embroidered with 5 clawed dragons appears before my eyes. Time seems to stop. The autumn night cold as ice. The eunuch collapses to the ground, face and hands pale as ash. The servants, being surrounded by soldiers, also freeze, strength dissipating. "Where is everyone?" Marcus shouts loudly. "Immediately report to the Ministry of Justice Minister and the Censorate Minister. Princess Seraphina plotting rebellion, evidence clear and present. Seal all main gates, back gates, side gates and corner gates of the princess's mansion. No one is permitted to leave." Squad after squad of fully armed soldiers pour in from every entrance of the princess's mansion. Sounds of crying and screaming immediately ring out everywhere, as if tearing apart the quiet night. Nearby households also panic, hurriedly closing their gates tightly. That night Marcus and I changed many people's fates. In my previous life, Princess Seraphina conspired with the 3rd prince in rebellion. When the 3rd prince felt matters might be exposed, he hurriedly gave all correspondence with border generals and court ministers plus large amounts of wealth for planning a comeback to Princess Seraphina to keep. Princess Seraphina immediately had people find a merchant convoy about to leave the capital, mixing all these things into the convoy's goods to secretly transport out of the capital and hide away. When the 3rd prince was reported by subordinates and His Majesty ordered his arrest and imprisonment in the Ministry of Justice for strict investigation, they still couldn't find the most crucial evidence. Princess Seraphina thus avoided a catastrophic disaster. The entire 3rd prince's mansion was sentenced to lifelong house arrest. But Princess Seraphina relied on the wealth the 3rd prince left behind to make her power even more tyrannical. She hid this from the emperor, hid it from the world, but couldn't hide from a wandering soul like me who had hidden and seen through every corner of the mortal world. I secretly investigated the merchant convoy that once helped Princess Seraphina transport cargo, discovering this convoy had ordinary origins, completely unrelated to the princess's mansion or any noble families. Surely due to urgent circumstances, Princess Seraphina didn't have time to arrange carefully. Since that's the case, then my Sterling family's medicine transport convoy can also help out while pulling the Whitmore Marquis estate into this matter. This is my ultimate goal. Last time you pushed the second master out as scapegoat. This time the entire Marquis family is caught in the net. Let's see if you can still escape. The Whitmore heir personally transported treasonous evidence. The Whitmore Marquis's wife had close relations with the third prince's mansion, gifting her hot spring estate to the third princess consort to support palace affairs. The Whitmore Marquis estate participated in the third prince and Princess Seraphina's Great Rebellion plot. Evidence conclusive. The entire family sentenced to execution by beheading. Thanks to Marcus's clever arrangements, my Sterling family also safely escaped. This general truly keeps his word, does what he says he'll do, never asking too many questions. Autumn is truly cold. Chill winds sweep tree branches swaying. Yellow withered leaves mixed with dry leaves fall like butterflies that have lost their souls, fluttering down. Last time I came to the execution ground was late spring. Then grass was green, willows verdant, birds singing cheerfully. Only I bore grievances that reached the blue sky, kneeling on the execution platform. Heart full of terror waiting for the executioner. Today I stand at the execution ground again. But waiting for something different. I watch from afar as the Whitmore Marquis estate's prisoner convoy, shackled and chained, slowly approaches. The Whitmore Marquis, second master, and heir with messy hair covering their faces, looking haggard. Lady Victoria and the second madam have also lost all noble bearing of powerful family madams, only pitiful screams dragging chains in utter despair. I stand by the road silently watching. Lady Victoria through the prison cart's bars sees me, eyes immediately brightening. Elena Sterling. She curses loudly. Elena Sterling, how can you be so vicious? Your mother and I had years of friendship. I never treated you harshly, yet you caused our whole family to lose our lives. You're a vicious woman, a despicable creature with a wolf's heart and dog's lungs. The Marquis and second master hearing this know I'm there, also begin cursing loudly. I step forward, raising my voice to ask, Lady Victoria, before my parents died, what did they say? Do you know? Lady Victoria is stunned. I didn't know before, but now I know. They surely said exactly the same words you and the Marquis just said. Lady Victoria's face immediately collapses, filled with despair and tragedy. The prison cart wheels creak past. She struggles to turn her head toward me at an unbelievable angle, screaming pitifully. I don't bother with her anymore. Marcus somehow has come beside me, dressed in a dark blue robe with round collar and narrow sleeves, looking heroically handsome. Not afraid? He asks. Afraid, but still had to come, I answer. Like last time at the General's manor, he gently grasps my elbow. At the noon hour, 3/4 past, the supervising official shouts loudly, throwing down the execution token. Great revenge achieved. The next day I bring offerings to visit the family graves. The Sterling family tombs weren't originally in the capital. After the case was overturned, I bought land near mountains and water, choosing an auspicious day to move my grandparents, parents, uncle and aunts, and siblings' remains here for peaceful rest. I want them to have a quiet, comfortable place to sleep deeply. Kneeling before the graves, I recount everything I've done recently, from finding the shop managers to the outcome for the Whitmore Marquis estate and Inspector Lawrence. I explain every detail clearly, like presenting a complete memorial. From now on, I bow before my parents' grave, kowtowing as I say, your daughter will rely on medicine making, not letting the Sterling family suffer any injustice or harm again. Just wiping away tears, I hear someone calling, Miss Sterling. Looking up, I see Marcus standing not far away calling me. Come, it's getting late. Let me take you back. Why, is the general here? I ask in surprise. I went to your residence looking for you to say goodbye. Lily said you came here to pay respects to your ancestors. Goodbye. Where is the general going? My father bears war injuries. Raising my elder brother's children, I've petitioned His Majesty to go guard the northern pass in his place. I'll leave in a few days. When do you depart? I ask. Miss Sterling will definitely come see me off to thank the general for his help. Tomorrow at the Mao hour, at the north gate. I nod, remembering the time and place, then walk with him toward the carriage. Does Miss Sterling have plans for the future? He asks again. Plans? I think a moment. The purple renewal pill is already known by many. I want to rename it the Sterling Gate Purple Renewal Pill. In future I'll make medicine for all women giving birth to daughters, while developing the Sterling medicine shops to flourish, so the Sterling clan can truly continue for generations. Really planning to take a husband into your family? He laughs loudly. My face heats slightly as I awkwardly answer. I said that just to refuse, fearing His Majesty would arrange a marriage. The general should focus on guarding the border well. The purple renewal pill originally only passes to daughters, not sons. I'll surely take several female disciples. Marcus looks into the distance. The most precious thing about the purple renewal pill is it can only be used by blood relatives. No matter how powerful or wealthy, if they seize it, it's useless. Miss Sterling, all women in the world regardless of rich or poor, high or low, will thank you. I shake my head slightly. They originally had the right to live when born. When will you come to the Northern Pass? He suddenly asks. Don't know. I smile answering. General Marcus will wait until the day you bring the Sterling Gate purple renewal pill and Sterling medicine shops to the Northern Pass. He smiles so beautifully. Looking at him, I can't help the corners of my mouth also lifting slightly. He leads his horse while I walk slowly beside him on the small path, chatting as we go. I've never had a moment as relaxed as now. The sun sets in the west, darkness surges from the east like a long road leading to the evening glow, leisurely yet profound. One thought becomes joy, one thought becomes obsession. Next year perhaps I'll visit the Northern Pass. The end. What do you think about Alina Sterling's decision when facing Princess Serafina and the entire Whitmore Marquise clan? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to hear your opinions. Thank you for following this story. If you enjoyed exciting and dramatic stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other captivating videos.